knockout punch is one thing. Death by attrition is another, and that's really our goal here, is to get people so healthy that they just don't need to go to their MDs anymore because it's an outdated, ridiculous, dangerous, ineffective treatment. I mean, why would you do that if you had something that actually worked? Why would you go to someone who doesn't know what causes your illness and can only help you manage the illness with symptom-suppressive drugs, which interfere with your body's articulation of its disease process? Why would you do that? Because you don't know any different, that's why. So we're going to educate people. We're going to help people. We're going to show people the undiscovered country of medical nutrition. We're going to generate results. We're going to generate health. And as this word spreads, the whole house of cards that the MDs live in is going to collapse. And, quite frankly, when that day happens, I'll be the happiest man in the world. Right now, let's go to California and talk to Celia, see what's up. Hey, Celia, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, but I'll get better. Thanks for asking. What's going on in California?
I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer and a liver mass, and I was wondering if your products would help me.
Well, here's a couple things to understand. My best friend in the world died from pancreatic cancer 7 years ago. And he did everything, he did almost everything under the sun. This was before I had experience with longevity, and it was before I knew about a homeopathic physician in India. Now, we don't treat cancer. It's illegal for us to treat cancer. It's illegal for us to even intimate that we can help people with cancer, and this is why there are no alternative cancer treatment centers in the United States. They don't exist because the only people that can treat cancer here are the people who suck at treating cancer, the MDs. And if that doesn't make you rip-roaring mad, I don't know what's going to. Now, if I had pancreatic cancer, here's what I would do to support and promote the structure and function of my body. How much do you weigh?
169.
Okay, so here's what I would do every month for nutritional supplementation. I would do 2 anti-aging healthy start packs, 2 anti-aging healthy start packs, original formula. I would do 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, Selenium, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, 4 bottles of Z Radical, Z like zebra, Radical. It's 4 Z Radical, 4 Selenium, and 2 anti-aging healthy start packs. I would eliminate all 10 bad foods yesterday, and I would do a Google search for an Indian homeopathic doctor named Ramakrishnan, 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 and I would schedule a phone consultation with him. And that's what I would do if I were suffering with this program. Also, you may find it necessary or helpful to get a copy of my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. You can buy that on my website. It's, I think, $10 to download it as an ebook, $20 to get a hard copy. I have a chapter in my book. What is it called? I'm sorry. It's called The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, right? And you can find that at drglidden.com. Just click the store button. It's right there. I think that when you click on that button, it takes you to Amazon. But in any event, in that book, I have a chapter on cancer, and in the chapter on cancer, I have 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist in the presence of a witness and a recording device. So, the next time you go to see the oncologist, if you're going to do that, you need to bring a witness and a recording device, and you need to politely ask the oncologist the 10 questions in my chapter on cancer. And when you hear and understand the oncologist's answer to these 10 questions, you will know whether or not to move forward with their therapeutics. But unless you ask these 10 questions, you will be strong-armed, misled, misguided into getting on board with their ineffective treatments. Now, sometimes, for some types of cancer, they can actually help you, but it's rare that that happens. But, we don't know what we don't know, and everybody has been trained in this society to genuflect at the altar of the MD and just shut up and do whatever the MD says. Well, your MD, bless his or her heart, doesn't know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in. And so you need to hold their feet to the fire when it comes to understanding their treatment strategies. And if you ask these 10 questions just politely and listen to their answers, you're going to know whether or not you need to follow through with what they're recommending you do. So that's how I would move. I'd eliminate the 10 bad foods. I'd take those nutritional supplements into your body and understand this is not a cancer treatment. This is a nutritional strategy, the intention of which is to support and promote the optimal structure and function of your body. Dr. Ramakrishnan will give you a cancer treatment. Well, specifically, it's a homeopathic constitutional treatment. If you can get an appointment with him, that's what I would do. And God bless you and good luck. Call me back with results. I'd love to track how you're doing.
Okay, question for you. I'm sorry. You said I can get the 10 questions from your website?
No, it's in my book. You have to get a copy of my book.
Oh, it's in your book.
Yeah,
okay.
It's in a chapter. My book's only $10. You can download it to your computer for $10, right? So that's what I would do. It's really pretty important. Okay. And I got to tell you, be prepared to have your jaw go on the floor when you listen to the oncologist answer these questions. I mean, no kidding. It's I've had patients kicked out of their oncologist's office because the oncologist refused to answer the question. And they're just simple questions. Like, doctor, does your treatment cure my cancer? I mean, that's a pretty important question to ask, right?
Yes, it is.
It is, Celia. I know. Well, knowledge is power, Celia. Good luck to you.
Yes, it is, and I'm learning a lot. Thank you
right.
so much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for your trust. I appreciate it more than you know. Lee from Utah is up next with a question about osteoporosis, I think. Hey, Lee, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Good afternoon. I've really enjoyed your program today. My 2 questions are related to the same thing, but 49 years ago, my wife and I had our first daughter. She was classified by the medical profession as having osteopetrosis, which she had no blood. no marrow in her bones.
That's interesting.
And they said that she would eventually go deaf and blind, and I got my answer listening to your program a week ago last Thursday night at midnight. You were talking about tinnitus, and that started me down the path of understanding better what it's all about, because she did go deaf and blind and lost the control of her face and such, and the nerves coming out of her skull were pinched off.
Right.
But after we were told that she had osteopetrosis, we asked, well, can we have children? And they said, well, 1 in 4 will have the disease, 1 in 4 will be free, and 2 in 4 will be carriers. Well, we ended up having 3 more children. All 3 of them were stillborn, full term, and no indication of any problems. And so we had decided that wasn't the way to go, and so we just been adopting. But I just wondered if you knew anything about osteopetrosis and how it relates to osteoporosis.
Well, from really great questions, Lee, and my heart goes out to you, because from my point of view, the failure here in your wife's inability to bring to the earth healthy children was the obstetrician's fault. It's not genetic. It's not your wife's fault. It's not a voodoo curse. It's not a bad gene, right? There are genes which attempt to express themselves at different stages of the development of the fetus in utero. Different stage. That's how the body grows, right? The genes express themselves. But the genes need nutrients in order to express themselves. It's kind of like, what would be a good metaphor? If you went to a movie, or if you went to an art studio and there was an art production and there was a big white screen on the wall and there was a projector in the back of the room, and the projector was there were red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet filters that would go in front of the projector, and then you'd see the big blue and red and orange and green, etc. lights on the wall. Well, if one of those colors was removed, you wouldn't be able to see it, right? So in this metaphor, the light projector would be your chromosomal material, and the filters in front of the light projector would be the essential nutrients that your body needs to express that particular color from the genetic material. So when people are deficient in nutrients, especially minerals, at different stages of fetal development, the body doesn't have the raw materials it needs to, make a healthy bone, make a healthy kidney, make a healthy eye, make a healthy whatever. And this is the new burgeoning field of medicine. It's called epigenetics, EPI genetics, epigenetics, and Dr. Wallach is considered the father of epigenetics because of his work with...
That book in my lap.
Okay, well, all right. So because of his work with cystic fibrosis in the 70s, he was the first one to show that this can actually happen, that nutritional deficiencies cause birth defects, right? Now, the wisdom of the body knows what's going on. And your wife's body knew that it didn't have the proper nutrients to bring a healthy child into life, so that's why the kids were stillborn, because her body didn't have the nutrients that it needed. And whose fault is that? And that's the obstetrician's fault, because it's the obstetrician's job to make sure that the baby matures with health. They let you down. I'm going to show you how to build yourself up when we come back. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Thursday, May 15th, 2014. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. This is Fire Your MD Now. We're talking to Lee from Utah. Lee, are you still with me?
I am. That leads me into my second question. My wife was a product of this traditional medical. Her grandfather was a doctor and her mother was a college graduate in health and nutrition and all of those kinds of things. And she was a lovely lady, but I couldn't get her converted to get away from the medical profession. She ended up having cancer and arthritis and many other problems. She went through radiation and so forth, and she finally decided to go to a better place. But this has bothered me for 49 years as to what has been going on. But I got her involved with a good friend of mine who is in my downline in Go Foods, upper cervical chiropractor, who's a great believer in nutrition, but has a blind eye to understand nutrition. He's a standard processor.
Oh, yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck.
What can I get him to get converted over to longevity? You were involved with standard process.
Yeah, I know a lot about standard process. I know a lot about the royal family. I know a lot about the vitamin industry in the United States. That's a really hard nut to crack because people who do standard process, that's all that they know. They've kind of drunk that Kool-Aid, and their mind is wrapped around this notion that nothing really is better than standard process. So the only thing possibly that I would suggest for people who are standard process devotees or devotees of Thorne or Vital Nutrients or Metagenics or, an Amway product or Sunrider or whatever would be to give them one bottle of the plant-derived minerals, and tell them to drink 1 ounce twice a day for 14 days. 1 ounce twice a day for 14 days, and look to see how it makes them feel. Most people are extremely minerally deficient, and they just don't know that they are. And so when you give their bodies the minerals that they've been needing their entire life, often in as little time as 2 weeks, switches start to turn on that have been off for a long time, and people start to feel a noticeable, measurable, positive change. So that's what I would do. I would try to get your foot in the door with direct personal experience. It's a $20 investment, right? A one bottle of the plant minerals is $20, plus shipping, whatever that is. So
how much do you think I should have them take at a time?
1 ounce twice a day for 2 weeks. And that they'll use up 1 bottle in 2 weeks. If you really want to go for it, you can give them 2 bottles, and they have them do the whole thing for a month. But most people are so minerally deficient that when they take minerals into their body in the form of the longevity plant-derived minerals, they feel almost an immediate change, an immediate positive change. Certainly 14 days is long enough to produce a result like that. The osteopetrosis is interesting because in osteopetrosis, there's an elevation of an enzyme called alkaline phosphatase in the body, and that speaks to a liver malfunction. And so if somebody is dealing with an osteopetrosis, I would recommend, of course, the 90 essential nutrients with extra liver support. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and do the beet juice thing for, a couple of months to support and promote the structure and function of the liver. But really, from our point of view, this all boils down to an epigenetic phenomenon. And so what we do when we're faced with an epigenetic breakdown is we just throw all of the nutrition at the body needs. We eliminate the 10 bad foods. We keep our fingers crossed, and we see how far back the body is able to bounce. You might be surprised. With sickle cell anemia, we have people who are virtually symptom-free. They're virtually symptom-free. And that's not supposed to be able to happen because, it's genetic and it's baked into the cake and you can't change that. Well, guess what? This whole revelation of epigenetics changes everything. And no longer is it a death sentence. We're never, ever going to be able to have somebody that has Down syndrome, for instance, be a normal human being again, but we can optimize their life to a remarkable degree. The same, I would assume, with osteopetrosis and so forth and so on. So what it all boils down to, Lee, is nutrify. Keep your fingers crossed and let God do the rest. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it very much. Let's go to New Jersey next. What do you say? See what Dolores is up to. Hey, Dolores, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hello, how are you?
Well, I'm great, Dolores, but hopefully I'll get better. What's going on in New Jersey? Hey, Dolores, by the way, which exit are you at in New Jersey?
Exit, 40.
Yeah, which exit? 49, exit off the turnpike? That's how I know New Jersey, right? Which exit are you off the turnpike? That's how everybody knows New Jersey, right?
Look, I have 2 questions for you.
Right.
You hurry up and cut me off. I don't want you to cut me off before I ask. Now, I am on your program.
Smartest girl in New Jersey. Good job.
Yes, because I talked to you before.
All right.
And I was telling you I was on the program, and I have, my digestive system was slow. So I was saying, because I have stenosis of the spine, so the doctor said, and the arthritis in the hip. And I'm walking like a dog that's been hit. It's so painful. So I've been taking this for a month. But my other package is on its way, maybe here today, I hope. And see, because you told me to get the liquid Beyond Astro
FX. Yep, great.
You told me to get the liquid instead of the powder.
Good.
So anyway, I'm going to try that and see what happens. But on Sunday, all of a sudden, it was like I thought my hair was down over my glasses, but it wasn't. So when I went to the doctor the next day, he said it was a floater. So have you ever heard of a floater in a person's eye?
Oh, yeah. The main cause of floaters in the eyes, there's 2 things that cause that. Number 1 is dehydration, not enough water intake. And number 2 is something called free radical damage, and that happens if you eat oil that's in a bottle or fried food or really any of the 10 bad foods. But the two biggest culprits there that make the eye go funky like that are fried foods and any type of oil that's in a bottle. But you also need something in the body called antioxidants in order to help the body deal with that. And so it would be prudent for you to get on board with more antioxidants. Are you taking selenium, I hope?
No, I'm taking everything that came in that package. That
Okay.
Healthy 90 for life, healthy body start.
Okay. So I would. How much do you weigh?
I won 62.
All right. I would, in addition, order 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. Let me spell you that for you.
Yeah.
It's S like Sam, E, L like Larry,
E-L.
N like Nancy, I-U-M, Selenium, Ultimate Selenium. Get 2 bottles of that. And also, Dolores, have you ever heard of something called green tea? Ever heard of green tea?
Oh, green tea, yeah.
Yeah, get some green tea and drink it like a son of a gun. Just drink a lot of green tea. Yeah, drink a lot of green tea for the next week. Drink more water than you're used to, and I bet you that floater's going to disappear.
Yeah, because according to the doctor, he's saying, oh, no, it's not going. It'll be there. Like nothing you could do because he has it too.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, right, we all get together and misery loves company. So, the medical doctor's wrong. I get floaters all the time myself, and they disappear when I drink more water and increase my consumption of antioxidants. It's a funny thing because dehydration is one of the leading causes of this, and dehydration is a funny thing because you can be drinking adequate amounts of water, but if you're drinking coffee or tea, even if it's iced tea, those things are diuretic, and that means the more coffee that you drink, the more water your body pees out, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're drinking too much coffee, like if you go on a bender for, a week and you double down on the amount of coffee because you've got something to do, you've got a job that you have to do or something that, you need to stay awake for or whatever, you can become dehydrated because you're drinking too much coffee and your body's peeing out more fluids than you're taking in. So.
But how do you know you're dehydrated? Because I don't get thirsty,
Yeah, well, it's a hard thing to know. I mean, the only way that you can really know this, and it's kind of a weird experiment, but, well, floaters, the presence of floaters would be one indication that you're a little dehydrated. But really the only way that you can know is for 24 hours in a row, every time you drink something, and I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's water, tea, coffee, juice, milk, vodka Collins. I don't care what it is. Every time you drink something, you measure how many ounces it is before you drink it. You measure how many ounces it is, and you write it down. Mm-hmm. And you look to the ounces you drink in 24 hours. And then every time you pee, and this is hard, this isn't easy for women, but every time you pee, you have to capture it and measure it and see how many ounces it is.
Oh, really?
And then look to see, in the course of 24 hours, whether you're peeing out more than you're drinking in. And if you are, you're dehydrated. That's kind of an old-fashioned naturopathic way to do it. But, what I would do as an experiment, I would just drink 12 more ounces of water a day than you're used to. Drink 12 more ounces of water a day than you're used to. Drink more green tea and see what happens to the floater. Now, the selenium supplement.
Don't hang up on me yet. Just one more.
Selenium. Okay. All right. Selenium. You need the selenium in addition.
Arthritis in the hip. Now, is this stuff going to take away the arthritis or build up the bone or what?
Yeah. So what this program does is it supports and promotes the optimal structure and function of the bones and the joints. So the degree that your body is able to get on the other side of this program will help, right? It's kind of like, what it's like, Dolores. It's like, giving a plant a little house plant that's struggling, giving it some miracle grow, a little bit more sunlight, a little bit more water, and seeing what happens, right? So we feed your body the nutrients that the joints and the bones need to maintain their health. We get the heck out of the way. We stop eating food that's hurting the bones and the joints. We keep our fingers crossed, and we see how far back we come. And, you know, usually if you're doing the right thing here with an arthritic problem, you experience slow and steady improvement every 4 weeks. Now, I don't think that the powdered calcium that you were taking in the past was sufficient to the cause here. I'm pretty sure that once you start the liquid calcium, you're going to experience improvement, you know, and it's going to be like watching ice melt in the springtime, right? A little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, like that.
Because it's not going to take away the pain. This is not for pain.
No, yeah. Well, the pain is present because there's inflammation in the joint. Why is there inflammation in the joint? Because the joint has run out of the stuff it needs to be healthy. So when we give the joint the stuff it needs to be healthy, the inflammation will go away and the pain will go away. And that's how we do it. You know, because the pain is, you know what the pain is like? It's like the little check engine light that comes on the dashboard, right? You know, it means there's something wrong with the engine. Well, whenever there's pain present in the body, that means there's something wrong somewhere. And, well, what do the MDs do? They give you morphine or, you know, Excedrin or Advil to knock down the pain, or oxycodone. Well, gee, thanks a lot. That doesn't get to the root of the pain, right? And that's what we attempt to do every time, right?
But that's a terrible pain, you know. And mine is not sitting down, not standing, it's walking. When I first step, that's
you feel it.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah, terrible. And when you're standing still, it's not there?
No, I don't feel it. And when I'm sitting down, when I try to get up out of the chair, I have to stand still before I take my first step. You know, like try to judge myself.
And when you take your first step, it's painful, right?
Yes, it is.
Now, the more that you walk, does the pain get less and less, or does the pain stay the same?
It can get less. What I do, if I'm going in a store or something, I get a cart, you know, and hold on to it, you know, and try to stand, you know, straight as I can. And maybe people won't even notice it, but I know it, you know, but it does feel a little better. You know,
it feels a little bit better. Does the pain in your hip increase when the weather changes? Can you tell that the rain's coming because your hip starts to act up?
Sometimes I don't know. I thought maybe that was just something somebody made up. I don't, you know, I haven't noticed.
And what about?
I guess maybe because it hurt so bad, they were, you know, dry or wet.
Yeah. And what about putting something hot on the hip? Does that help it, or does that hurt it, or does that do nothing to it?
If I'm in the shower, you know, I stand there, you know, and it feels good. Not cold. You don't recommend anything cold, though, right?
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever tried that? Ever tried to put ice on it and see what it did?
No, because, you know, the pain is like in the groin area where the hip in my bottom of my stomach or wherever, you know, the hip area. That's where the pain is, right in the center, right in the crease.
Yeah. How about first thing in the morning when you roll out of bed? Does that hurt?
And what I do, I try, but I can get on the floor, I can do exercise, I can lift my legs like 20, 25 times, and I, you know, turn on my side, I can do each leg 25 times, and it's not hurting. And I can do, you know, push the legs back. You know, I can feel that a little, especially in that leg, you know. In the left leg.
Yeah, it's only when you're walking on it that it's painful, right?
That's where it gets me.
All right. So look, there's I want you to get a pencil because I'm going to have you write something down here.
Yeah, I have one.
All right. I want you to go to a health food store and get a homeopathic medicine. All right. You spell that HOMEO. PATHIC, homeopathic medicine. In the health food store, in the vitamin aisle, there's going to be a little shelf with about 50 homeopathic medicines in the shelf. And they're dispensed in small tubes. They look like lipstick containers. It'll cost you about $8, $9, $10 for one tube. And here's the name of the homeopathic medicine I want you to get. Okay? All right, first I'll say it and then I'll spell it. It's a Latin name. It's called Rus toxicodendron.
Wow.
And here, I know. Well, here's how you spell it. All right, it's easy. It's R like Roger, H like Harry, U, S like Sam. R-H-U-S like Sam. All right, second word?
H-U-S.
R-H-U-S. Ready for the second word?
Yeah.
All right, T like Thomas, O, X, I, C like Charlie, O, D like David, E like Edward, N like Nancy, D like David, R like Roger, O like Oscar, N like Nancy. All right, now go to the
T-O-X-E-C-O-D-E-N-D-R-O-N.
Yeah, Rust toxicodendron. Perfect. It's going to be in a little blue tube, and in that little tube is going to be about 100 little white pellets. Here's how I want you to take that. I want you to take 2 pellets orally like a Tic Tac. You pop 2 pellets in your mouth and suck on them like a Tic Tac 4 times a day. I want you to do 2 pellets orally 4 times a day for 7 days in a row, and then I want you to call me back and tell me what happened to the hip pain, okay?
Okay.
All right. Homeopathic Rust toxicodendron, Dolores. Give it a run for its money. Get some selenium, get some green tea, drink a little bit more water. Give me a call back in 7 or 8 days, and we'll see how you're doing. Appreciate the phone call. David from Wisconsin is up next, folks. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. We're finishing up today's show. It's Dave from Wisconsin. Maybe time for Gary from San Diego, too. Let's see what Dave is up to. Hey, Dave, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden, how you doing?
Pretty good, thanks. Thanks for the call. What's up?
Hey, I just recently got introduced to longevity, and I've been impressed with a lot of the testimonials and stuff, and I guess I'm just looking for some help. I've been diagnosed, or I was diagnosed with Lyme's disease about 2 years ago, and I've been treating it, or I've been seeing like naturopaths, and I finally, I've been seeing naturopaths for about the last 2 years and trying to take care of it that way, and don't know if I completely have gotten through it, and I've also had, a lot of other problems along the way, especially digestion and the colon. Got hypothyroidism, low blood pressure, a lot of different like swelling and stuff like that. Some brain issues.
How much do you weigh?
Just under 150.
Okay, so I consider myself an expert on Lyme disease. I worked for 12 years, I think, in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, which is one of the highest incidences of Lyme disease in the world. I don't know how many people, hundreds of people, have come to me for help with Lyme disease, and I know quite a bit about it. I'd like you to go to my website and pop down $20, become a Dr. Glidden Insider. It's a month-to-month subscription. You can cancel at any time. Cancel after the first month if you want. And I want you to watch a webinar that I did on Lyme disease. It's a 45, 55-minute webinar. It's in the archive. So when you're a subscriber to my website, you have immediate access to over 110 hours of archived health webinars that I've put together. One of them was on Lyme disease. You need to watch it because it's going to blow your mind. There's a lot of information in there that I just don't have time to talk about now. I have
the person that.
Have you watched that webinar?
Yes, I did. Yep.
All right, good.
I guess,
so here's what I want you to do, because we only have a limited amount of time.
I understand. Yeah.
All right. Have you taken teasel root?
No, I have not.
All right. So you need to get some teasel root, Teasel. The Latin name for that is Dipsacus sylvestris, D-I-P like Peter, S like Sam, A-C-U-S, Dipsacus sylvestris, S-Y-L, V like Victor, E-S, T like Thomas, R-I-S, Dipsacus sylvestris, teasel root. Take 9 drops 3 times a day for 28 days. 9 drops orally 3 times a day for 28 days. In addition to that, I would recommend you do 1 healthy brain and heart pack, 1 bottle of its original formula, 1 original formula healthy brain and heart pack, 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, and 1 bottle of Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. That's 1 Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, 1 Healthy Brain and Heart Pack Original Formula, and 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. Do that program for 2 months. Those nutritional supplements for 2 months. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. You familiar with that list?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Get on board with those nutritional supplements and add the teasel root into the bargain. Oftentimes, people who think they have Lyme disease don't really have Lyme disease, and sometimes people who don't think they have Lyme disease have Lyme disease. It's a really tricky thing to diagnose because the Food and Drug Administration made illegal the only Western blot test that can test definitively for Lyme disease. So you could have, been bitten by the tick, have all the symptoms of Lyme disease, have definitive Lyme disease, and you do the blood work and it comes back negative. You could have had Lyme disease 25 years ago, gotten over it, be symptom-free, and test positive for Lyme disease because of the insidious nature of the Food and Drug Administration with their, it's nuts what's going on with Lyme disease. So whether you have it or not, I don't know. Nobody does. But if I had Lyme disease, this is what I would do as an experiment for 60 days to support and promote the structure and function of my body-mind. You want to look to see how the program makes you feel. You want to rate each of your symptoms on a scale of 1 to 10 once a week for 8 weeks and look to see if anything improves on this program. Check it out, and thanks for the call. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, 7:30 Central Time, it's my free Healthy Body Challenge webinar with Sanjeev Javia. Check out my website for details. See you.